Hello everyone. If you want to go to my free course, type henry-ward.co.uk into Google, then go to Henry Ward Trading, and then this here is my free course. Click on Start Today. If you want to go on to the webinars that I do every Sunday and every Wednesday, click on Trading Academy and then click on Start Today. So this is the Trading Academy. This is the full training, the webinars, direct access to me, everything that you want. Hello everyone, how are you? Welcome to another Tuesday Market Watch. I'm here on the London trading floor, so if you do hear noise, I do apologize. It is just a busy office going on. Now, I wanted to cover cotton, just to go through some of the trades we actually placed. Okay, so this was the sort of one of the trades we placed here. So we saw that. Now, it wasn't something that we took, but anyone that took that went on very, very quickly and it hit it 3-1. So it popped back up here. So this was a double top. It had bounced and retest there. So we had a break and retest really, really nicely. Come up to this area, entry below it, stop loss above it, and we wanted this to go down. Now, we placed this trade here on the 16th of November. And as we can see, it teetered, it came down, it got close to what? 1.5 to 1, went up into negative, come back down to about a 1 to 1, back up into a little bit of negative, came down. Now, at this particular point, there was also another trade popping up there. So it was a double top here. You could have a trend line on this as well. All of that coming across there as well. So there was loads of sort of indicators to tell us that this should go down as well. And we placed this trade here. So some of you guys took this trade here as well. I popped it up slightly higher. It's down a little bit low. So there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches. It's a double top, and then also took that short. Now, if we have a look at it here, it only hit profit on Friday. So that is, you're in that trade a long time. So you're in that from November, December, January, February, March, 4 months. So either of those trades, you got in this original one, that's a 4-month trade that you're in. Now, there are a couple of pros and cons to this. Now, one, depending on what broker you're using, whether your contract would have expired and they just knocked you out of the trade. Some brokers, what they will do is each month they will charge you another spread every time you're in that. So every time the contract expires. So there's a couple little things. Also, the rollover fees. You will have rollover fees on the likes of that on some brokers, some you won't. So there was a couple of negatives versus positives on this type of trade. So with commodities, it can take a little bit of a chunk out of the profits that you're actually trading. Why? Because this one moved sideways, even though it was a winning trade, even though it went down to, in this particular scenario, this went down to a 2.19 and this one went down to a 2.83. So out of both trades, you actually got 5% out of it. And there was 2% risk. So as a general rule of thumb, that's not a bad return on investment. But with the likes of the rollover fees, if you had any, with the likes of the contracts expiring and then this getting charged a spread again, or if you're actually kicked out of the trade and then have to take the trade a second time. These are all the things that are a little bit frustrating with the likes of this one. But again, yes, you would have died of old age before this went on and hit profit. So not massively profitable for us, but in the sense that we were correct. It did exactly what we wanted it to do, but it just took about 4 months, well, about 3.5 months longer than we expected. So we're going to look at sort of commodities today. We're going to go into a little more detail with them, and there are some nice setups that have already taken place on the commodities market. Now, in this particular scenario, we did have an actual buy at that particular one. Look, there's one touch, two. Yes, we had a break here. on this one, so we broke through it. But again here, there was a buy signal there. Now I can understand you not buying it there. Why? Because it took so long for this to go down. The chance of it going back up is quite slim. But if we look at this area, this is the area it seems to be coming back to. So into between there, 81.997 into the high of 89. So there, somewhere in between there, if you had a target of about 86, that would probably be the area that'll come back to. And the risk to reward there would have been really nice as well. But missed that one Friday. Coca, again, Coca a little bit annoyingly, we wanted it to come back down to here and hit this floor. We wanted to come back to this level. It didn't quite come back and play ball, and now look, it just is motoring at the minute. So the next scenario for us to take a trade on this is to come back down to there. So if it comes back down to there, that's where we sort of want to get in on it. If I stick a little sort of trend line on this, we are coming back there, 1 touch, 2, 3. Okay, you could amend this up a little bit and go back down here and get these other touches in and go there. But again, it is entirely up to you which of the two you want to see more, whether it's this one or this one. But identically, both are very, very similar in the same area. So for me, this one is probably a little better. But again, they're all converging in the same place. So we have this bigger trend line, we have this smaller trend line, we have the horizontal level there. Let me have a look at this horizontal historically and see what's happened. Look, we had 1, 2, 3, 4 touches there. So this looks like a pretty decent level to be actually trading off of. So what I want to do now is make sure that I'm sitting and waiting on this, that I have a alert put there that once it gets down to the 2750 level, that I get emails. Okay, and that's making sure that you have these alerts, you have stuff set up there, that if it comes back to there, that you're not forgetting about it. Sugar, I know we talked about sugar being a potential trade here, and it went up and hit a 1.36. So it went up and hit our take profit. We wanted to be out just at the open and the close of this, and look, it went up identically and just hit it, and then look, it's come back down. So is there a trade in this at the minute? Nope, not at all. Stay away from it. There's no trades at the minute, but it did exactly what I expected it to do. And our take profit, look, we were literally pips away from not taking profit on this particular trade. But again, at this present moment, leave it alone, stay away from it. Even if I got back to here, I'm not sure I would actually take it, if I'm being honest. But let's wait for it to come back there and then let's make a decision. Palladium has been trending beautifully down through this area. I know we took this trade here, but what has happened here is it seems to be moving sideways, massively sideways. Now, if we're looking at this, there is overall momentum down, so there is more downward pressure. Okay, if we looked at here, we actually had a similar thing here. It happened sideways, 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 and then it took off. So hopefully the same thing is happening here. But what I'll be looking into in Palladium is why it's not moving, what are the catalysts, is this the season where it actually starts to go up, is there a shortage, so on and so forth. So they're the key things that I'll be looking at the likes of this if I were in this trade. Yes, we're slightly up on the trade itself, but I'd be a little bit nervous that this is massively overextended. We're way overexposed. It has failed to break that low, so we actually have a triple bottom there, 1, 2, 3. If I go down to the 4 hour, you will see it much, much better. 1, 2, and then I pop down here for the third time. So you can see that there, it's happened 3 times, and it's a little bit of a red flag for me there. Remember, trade with the trend till the bend at the end. and this is looking like a bend, so I need to do a little bit more research on this particular trade before I would be jumping out of it or trailing my stop loss. But it is something that gives me a little bit of what I say anxiety about this particular trade, so I'd need to do a little more research on this before, or if I was in this, or before I close it, or before I leave it alone. Copper, so we looked at copper here, went up, we got a 1-to-1 out of it. It didn't go as we expected. We wanted copper to continue going, and it turned around, and now it's starting a little downward trend. Okay, so we're starting a little downward trend. So we do have this sort of flag pattern happening. I don't know whether you guys can see that there, but we have this sort of a flag pattern. Now there's the pole, there's the flag. Now the idea of this is this will probably pop to the upside, but the question is this flag pattern going to continue, or is it going to pop to the upside first? That's the question. So we do have a short position setting up there. So using this red bar, I'm not using the green one, I'm using the red bar. So the entry will be there and a stop loss above it. I would only be looking for a 1-to-1 on this particular trade. So there, back to that horizontal. And that's all I'll be looking for on this particular trade. I wouldn't be looking for any more, but if we look at this, the overall trend is going up. We have more momentum on this since July last year. So over the last, nearly a year, it has been trending upwards very slowly, I might add. We have a sidewaysness, we have a spike, a sidewaysness, we have a spike. Now we have this sort of, it's coming backwards slash sideways. So let's see how that plays out there. Palladium did play out quite well here. It was heading down, it retested, and then we got a 1-to-1 out of it, so slightly above a 1-to-1, and then look, it completely changed direction straight away again, which is not ideal. And then at this particular point, we sort of have a triangle setting up there. If I drop down to the 4-hour, you'll see it a little bit better. And we have this going on right there. And I will do that. So we sort of have that wedge shape coming on here, and it's like a coil getting loaded, and we're probably going to get a breakout one way or the other. Now looking at this, because of the overall trend, I'd expect that to the downside, if I'm being honest. If I'm looking at this, the overall momentum is down. I know we have a little bit of upward pressure here, but the overall momentum is down. I'd expect that to pop to the downside here. So that's what I expected to fall over. It looks like there's more sellers in this market on the daily, so the probability of this going down is quite higher for me. And how we would potentially trade that is, that seems to be the low there. And what I would do is I'd be looking to put a short position here. Now the question then is where do we put our take profit? Now the safe play, or the stop loss, the safe place is there. So that's a safe place. But then the risk to reward is horrible. Okay, so the risk to reward, it has to go down to there to hit your 1-to-1. Then you have to be a little more sort of pragmatic with your stop loss. So are you better off putting your stop loss here? Are you better off putting it here? And there are little things you have to go. If you're quite confident that it's breaking down, and you're quite confident it not triggering you in before it goes back up, if that makes sense. So we haven't been triggered in. That there would be a little better risk to reward, but the probability of you getting triggered in and triggered out is much higher. Wheat, let's have a look on the daily chart. So again, wanted wheat to come back to that ceiling there, it didn't. And as we can see, it actually retested here. So it did actually come up to a double top. It came to that area. I wanted it to pop up the same as this one here. It didn't, and then just dropped quite dramatically. It made a lower low, and now it's come back up here again. So if we get a triple top there through this area, that actually might be a really nice area to actually sell. Right there, bounce, 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 hits its head there and drops to the downside. Natural gas. So obviously this is not a daily trend. We have to jump down onto the 4 hour so we can actually see what's going on here. And we can see this trade that we took, we would have hit profit there quite quickly. And this one was a 1-to-1. Again, I'm not looking for massive risk to reward on the likes of this. It's really slowly coming down, so continue trading that down. Okay, this would have been a nice little trade. Got a 1-to-1 out of it quite quickly. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4 hours. So in one day you'd have triggered in and then hit profit on that one quite quickly. Well done. Any other trades setting up on this? No, I sort of needed to break and retest this level. So we seem to have sort of a little floor there, 1, 2, 3 touches. So I'd want to break and retest this before I'd be looking to take the next trade on this one. And then last but not least, oil. So I'll pop back up to the daily first. And oil has now broken through that sort of horizontal. So I would like to see that go up and then retest. And if that happened, that could be a nice little 4 hour, and we're looking for that up there. So drop down to the 4 hour now and have a quick look. We have a little bit of momentum behind it. The lows have got higher, the highs have got higher, and I just need that to go up, pull back down, and then we're looking for that to the upside. Anyone who enjoyed any of this, we have opened up a trading floor in Mayfair in London. Anyone who wants to come down, let me know. Any of the channels there we have, let me know. The link to the broker is also in the chat there as well. Just let me know, and you're more than welcome to come visit us on the trading floor. Thank you very much.